We are on the heels of Modern Warfare being released, and because of it, everybody is making all sorts of content about it. And today I wake up and I see a video in my sub box from Tmartn, and he is announcing that it is the end of supply drops in Modern Warfare. RIP Supply Drops in Modern Warfare is the title of the video. If you're interested in finding any of these video sources or articles, I will have linked the three I will be referring to in the description below. So I see this video, he's announcing the end of supply drops, and he's talking about this new protocol by the ESA. Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo will start disclosing loot box odds. When you're looking at a microtransaction, when you're looking at loot boxes, they will say what your odds are of getting certain things very clearly. And I think that's a great announcement. And Tmartn says, great, it's going to be the end of people buying things in Call of Duty over loot boxes. They're going to look at the boxes. They're going to say, oh, I only have this amount of chance, 1 in 1,000%. They cost X amount of dollars per loot box. I'll probably stop buying it. And then he says, oh, look at me. I'm the guy who knows about loot boxes. Haha. Makes that joke about himself cheating everybody. And then says, you know what, so I'm real credible about this. And then if you look in the article, there's a Kotaku article, again, linked down below. You'll notice that this doesn't start till 2020. And one of the provisions is that all old games, this is only applying to new games for when this starts. And Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo all say, the quote is, it'll be done sometime by the end of 2020. This is why... this is by Microsoft and Nintendo. This is why by 2020 all new apps and games will offering loot boxes and other mechanisms on Microsoft platform will provide disclose the odds. And then Sony says that it'll happen by the end of 2020. So this is it's no later than at the end of 2020 according to EA. So they're all trying to take their time, and they're going to do this right when they have to. And it just kind of reminds me of like the predatory nature that exists in gaming. Because if we go back to the Let's Go Whaling video by Trollof Jernenstorm, the guy that produced the How to Monetize Mobile Games and Free-to-Play Games, basically talking about how to find your whales that will spend the most amount of money on the game, whether it is by selling them. The main ways are by selling them convenience. This will be unlocking progress for money. If you could spend X amount of hours doing this, or you could pay me $5. That example. The customization, this is new skins, new hats, new camos, stuff like that. The competitive advantage, they call this the killers. This is putting in guns and armor, stuff like that in supply drops, which Call of Duty does. The guns that have been in Modern Warfare Remastered, definitely better than some of the guns that are just stock. And of course you have content, and this is what he calls for explorers. He says this is the most expensive and least profitable and most not chosen route to take anymore, because it is expensive. It takes a lot to design content for people to buy, and this is also not what they want. You have to keep designing new content to be purchased. You can't just say, here's another hat, spend $30 on it. And they mention just basically different strategies for getting wealth from consumers, and a lot of the practices are things like, say this is normally priced $100, today only it's on sale for $5. See, they're creating an artificial price that never was in place for an item, and you can see that in the Apex store all of the time. There's never regular prices going on everything. It's always normally 3,200 Apex coins now on sale for 1,800, and so this is made its way into free to play. Well, Apex is a free to play game, but it's making its way into games like Modern Warfare Remastered, where you pay $60 and then also have to get loot boxes for guns and cosmetic items. So I think that this is, if we're comparing the Let's Go Whaling, which came out in, I think it was broken in 2016. It made a big resurgence in July, but I believe this original clip comes from September 2016. This is the height, I think, of these loot boxes, of players being taken advantage of. This was before all of the regulation that has been placed on in the United States and all around the world. A lot of countries outright banning Certain things like Grand Theft Auto's casino update was completely banned in certain places, certain countries. It just was never even published. So I think that if we're looking at the height of that story versus comparing this story of no more, or not even no more, but showing, you know, the odds of loot boxes by the end of 2020. Look at this hit marker situation here. By the end of 2020, I think if we're comparing those two stories, it shows that the microtransactions, loot boxes, things like that still have much more power in the situation in the current gaming sphere. So I'm not expecting loot boxes to go away anytime soon. I'm not expecting them to get fair or fun anytime soon. But I think maybe we're seeing the beginning of the trend. However, contrary to what Tmartn has published on his channel, no, this is definitely not the end. That was definitely some clickbait and a little bit of heartless reporting, or whatever we want to call this. I think he's a little bit of intentionally lying for views, but such is Tmartn. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this, as I'm sure there are many opinions across the board, and hopefully we'll see these loot boxes be gone soon. Also, no more microtransactions in Modern Warfare Remastered. Don't spend your money.